Hi there. So today I thought I would do a more casual video. I was watching one of my favorite channels yesterday called Glitter Fallout. The woman who runs it is named Linda. She's a delightful goth. And what Linda did was what she called a self-interview. So basically asked herself questions that reintroduced herself to her audience, did a little bit of reflection on 2024, and then also looked ahead to 2025. And since this is a relatively new channel, I thought that I would steal this idea to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about my history and then what I am hoping to do going forward into this year. So there are 12 questions. We can get started with the first one. The first one is, what is your name and what is today's date? I think we can handle that. My name is Lindsay Morgia. I'm the founder of The Data Coach, and I'm filming this on January 14th, 2025. What is your age? Thanks so much for asking. I'm 40 and will be turning 41 this May. The third question is, where are you from? So I was born and raised in New York. Shout out to any Westchester people who are watching. How are you? I spent most of my adult life living in Boston. I was there for about 20 years. And about 2.5, almost 3 years ago, my husband and I moved out to Denver, Colorado. I think at this point I have lost most of my New York accent, but you will hear it come out if I am driving and someone is doing something stupid or dangerous in my vicinity. This happens a lot in Colorado, even more so than I had ever seen in Boston or New York. Um, so I'd like to take this moment to ask my fellow Coloradans who are driving along I-70 or on I-25, if we could just all take a deep breath. It is not that serious. We're going to be okay. Thank you. Next question is, what is your job and what do you love about it? So my job, I am a research and data consultant for nonprofit organizations. If you heard that and kind of went, wow, that sounds like nonsense, that's okay. I understand. I think when people hear consultant sometimes, they kind of roll their eyes a little bit. I get it. But all that really means is that my job is to help nonprofits with all of their data collection, their data analysis, and reporting needs. And this year, we're going to be offering more services to help with data management and establishing regular data policies for organizations. What I love about this kind of job is that instead of working for one organization that's focusing on a specific number of issues, I get to work with lots of different organizations that are doing all kinds of interesting and important and necessary work on civil rights, on children's issues, on environmental justice, and all kinds of other things that I care very deeply about. The other thing I love about my job is developing relationships with my clients, learning more about their goals and their needs and their challenges, and where I can step in and help support them along whatever their data journey is. I once had a former client of mine refer to me as a kind of data therapist, which I thought was hilarious. And I came this close to renaming the business the data therapist. But what I think she was getting at was, I'm not somebody who comes in hot and throws a lot of technical stuff at you. I'm not here to make you feel embarrassed or ashamed of what your organization has or doesn't have. My job is really to come in, learn from you, learn about your organization, move at your pace, answer all of your questions in very plain English, and be your partner in working toward becoming whatever type of data-driven organization you would like to be. The next question is, what is something that you are proud of from the past year? I finally asked for help. Please clap. Thank you so much. When you decide to go into business for yourself, you're going to have to start learning a lot of skills and doing a lot of things that you don't necessarily have any experience in. You've got to manage your finances, learn about marketing, learn social media to some extent. You've got to figure out web design, and a lot of that stuff takes a lot of time. For the first 4 years, I was doing all of that all by myself to very varying degrees of success. And it dawned on me last year that I'm spending so much time trying to figure out these things that honestly I'm not particularly good at. You know, doing that is taking time away from doing the work that I really want to do and finding the clients that I really want to work with. So I finally reached out to get help with things like web design, with the rebrand, with marketing strategy. It's very hard for me to ask for help. It's very hard for lots of people to ask for help, but I am proud of myself for not only recognizing the need for help, but that I took action and got the support to keep my business moving forward. Where did you travel last year? Um, where did I go last year? Oh, I went to Portland, Oregon for the Nonprofit Technology Conference. It was my first time going. It was super fun. I met a lot of really interesting people doing really forward thinking work. It was a very well organized conference, and the conference app worked, which I realize is maybe a small detail, but I've been to so many conferences where the app is just worthless. It was refreshing and I appreciated it. I will be at NTC 25 in Baltimore this April. So if you're going, please come by and say hi. I'm doing a session on trauma informed research practices for nonprofits. Where else did we go? Unfortunately, we didn't make it out to Boston last year, but we are going to be there this summer for a wedding. So I'm really excited to see friends. And I love a wedding. Um, we're hoping to also maybe do a trip to Moab this year. And hopefully, we will get it together enough to actually plan that trip before it gets too hot. The next question is, what books did you read last year? I'm so glad that you asked. Hold on. Okay, book number one. This is book talk now. Book number one that I really enjoyed, Die Hot with a Vengeance by Sable Young. It's a collection of essays about struggling with the tension between the ways that beauty can empower people, but then also the stigmas and the guilt and the shame sort of associated with vanity. Really interesting read. I also picked up John Green's I'm not going to say this right, The Anthropocene Reviewed. That's what we're calling it, The Anthropocene Reviewed. I had not read any of John Green's fiction books. I really enjoyed this one, and I'm really looking forward to Everything is Tuberculosis that is coming out this year. Quietly Hostile, Samantha Irby. She is my personal queen. I will read anything that she writes for the rest of my life until the day that I die. And the end of last year, I watched The Three Body Problem on Netflix, which is wild. I immediately bought the first two books in the trilogy. I finished Three Body Problem. I'm almost done with The Dark Forest. If you have read The Dark Forest, please leave a comment below because what's happening? What's going on? I'm getting lost in the physics of it and have lost the plot. So if you could help me out, that would be fantastic. Thank you. Who inspires you? My clients inspire me, their commitment to the work that they do, fellow solopreneurs, really anyone who is able to put themselves and their stories and their talents out there for all of the world to see. I find really inspiring. They force me to get out of my comfort zone, my very deeply introverted comfort zone, be a little bit braver, and become more visible in the world. So those are the kinds of folks that really inspire me and keep me going. Your favorite movies. So listen, I assume this is a safe space. I'm going to be extremely vulnerable with you right now. I have seen every single movie in the Fast and Furious franchise. Yeah, I'm kind of hanging on out of obligation at this point. And you do things for the family. If I had to pick a favorite movie out of the franchise, I'm going to go with 8. And I'm choosing 8 because that is a movie that introduced Charlize Theron as a character. And I think she was a much needed breath of fresh air. Biggest regret from last year. I think last year I spent a little bit too much time by myself, which is super easy to do when you work by yourself, you work remotely, and even easier when you're in a new place where you don't really know too many people. So for this year, I'm really committing myself to getting out there a little bit more, doing more networking. There's a local meetup group for nonprofit consultants that I like going to. I'm hoping to get some more conferences, more events, things like that to establish more personal and professional roots in our new city. If you have an event, if you're local and you've got something coming up in the Denver area, leave it in the comments and I'll try to come. Unless it is something like mountain biking or rock climbing. I'm sorry, I am an inside cat and that is a hard thing in Colorado, but I'm not very coordinated and I'm just trying to stay alive. The last question is, what is your motto for the coming year? When I first saw this question, my immediate thought was never give up, never surrender. Yes, that is from Galaxy Quest, but I think there's a reason that was the first thing that popped into my brain. A lot of us come into a new year hopeful, but no matter what, we're all going to be facing our own personal and professional challenges. There are going to be huge political, social, economic challenges coming up. And while it is critically important to take care of ourselves, when faced with this kind of strife, it is equally important to hold on to our perseverance and keep fighting for the things that we believe in. So I am going to stick with that motto for the coming years. If you have a motto for 2025, please share it below. I'd love to hear what your thinking is. So that's everything for the self-interview. Thank you for watching and for humoring me with this one. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the Data Coach channel to stay up to date on all the videos and different events we're going to have coming up for this year. You can also always visit us at www.the-data-coach.com. Again, thanks for watching and we'll see you soon. Bye.